to him might also be the one that breaks him. Devastated by the death of his best friend, Detective Inspector Andrew Ziggy Thorns is out for justice at any cost. During the day, he and his team are trying to unravel a murky web of money laundering and organised crime. At night, he conducts his own murder investigation, and he's about to uncover the twisted link between the two. As tension mounts and struggling to decide who he can still trust, Ziggy needs to make decisions that mean breaking the sacred oath he took when he joined the force. He continually pushes the boundaries of what is and isn't acceptable behaviour for a serving DI. But as he digs ever deeper, can Ziggy prevent a devastating finale that will leave him questioning everything he's ever believed in? And we join Ziggy now just as he's about to enter the room. Ziggy took a step into the bathroom. The lead forensic officer stopped what she was doing and turned to him. You can't be in here, D.I. Thorns. He heard the pity in her voice, but he was staring at the figure in the bath, trying to reconcile it with his wacky, hippie, fun-loving and very much alive friend. Bruising had developed around her eyes. The lips had already darkened and her skin was mottled, discoloured, bloated. Glancing down at her thin body, he saw that it was covered in stab wounds, too many to count. Her arms were above her head and he could see defence wounds. My God, she'd fought back, was his only coherent thought. He felt a hand on his shoulder and turned to see Sadie standing behind him. Ziggy, we need to let them get on with their work, she said gently. Stepping back from the horror in front of him, he realised that everyone had stopped what they were doing to give him space. He wiped the tears that formed in the corner of his eyes, apologised, but for what, he wasn't quite sure, and then left the room. Whitmore's waiting for you downstairs. I think perhaps we need to go find him. Sadie was still at his side. He sensed she was reluctant to leave him, probably fearing how he would react to the whole situation. But he was hardwired to respond to a murder. He was suddenly filled with a sense of urgency. He grabbed Sadie's shoulder, ticking off a list on his fingers as he spoke. Right, we need to start door to door if that hasn't already happened. He marched off with purpose, trotting down the stairs with a renewed sense. Does this place have CCTV? Where are the cameras point? Is the building manager or caretaker here? Have they been called? Sadie ran just to keep up with him. Andrew, she shouted. Ziggy stopped at the sound of his first name. Apart from Whitmore, no one called him that at work. What? He snapped at her. You really need to go see Whitmore. She was pointing at the exit, whereas Ziggy had been making his way towards the rear of the building. He closed his eyes, always reluctant to do as he was told. There was no getting out of it. He would need to speak to Whitmore at some point. Sir, he said, tapping his foot. Yes, look, first, Andrew, I'm incredibly sorry for your loss. I know it's your friend, you were very close. Thank you, sir, Ziggy replied. We need to start. Whitmore held up his hand and Ziggy saw a look of trepidation on his face. Look, Andrew, there's no way to put this. Whitmore paused. I'm sorry, but you can't work the case. I'm sorry, you can't work the case. Dr. Turner was a close friend of yours. It's a conflict of interest. Andrew stopped breathing and his head was screaming a multitude of profanities that he couldn't yet process. Drawing on his every reserve, he spoke in a measured tone. It's for those reasons I should be SIO on this case, sir. I need to find who did this. No, Andrew, you're on leave.